Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Professors of Profit vlogcast. I'm your host, Dr. F Scott Feil, and I have with us today an amazing story. This has been a long time coming. I've been waiting to get this guy on for a while now, but a busy man, Dr. Tim Reed. Tim, how are you, man? What are you up to these days?
I'm up to a lot. Sometimes I wonder if it's almost too much, but no, things are good. They're exciting. I'll say they're moving fast, but I don't know, it's just one of those things. Like, it really is exciting, even though there's like stress that comes with it. It's the fun kind of stress of piecing it all together. But
well, I love your story, man, because let's talk about this here. You literally went from DPT, right? A doctor of physical therapy, started a side gig kind of as a personal trainer, and then went into a full-time gig now. So tell us a little bit about that journey and that transition and where it led you to today.
Yeah. So graduated physical therapy is down in Phoenix, Arizona. And during physical therapy school, my son was born. And so we knew that after me being done with school that we were going to come back to Omaha, Nebraska, where family is. And so moved back here. But I'm also, one of my mentors when I was out at school was Tim Fearon, who he's trained under Margaret Anderson, who trained under Jeff Maitland. And so like really into the clinical decision making and that type of stuff. And it was whenever he would come in as like adjunct to the school, I was like, man, I want to work underneath this guy. But it changed because when I moved back to Omaha, I wasn't going to be anywhere close to Tim Fearon. So I actually flew out once a month and would hang out with him in his clinic over the weekend. And I ended up working at a spine clinic in Omaha, which I won't get into that story, but I learned a lot of stuff from Tim Fearon that was not being practiced in that clinic. And I wasn't really impressed. Like, it was person getting, like, whether it was a 20-year-old with a disc pathology or an 80-year-old with spinal stenosis, they were getting the same treatment. And I was like, this is not it. And so him and I had some heated moments. I eventually left, got into a nursing home because they offered to pay me a whole lot more. But at that time I was like, man, I'm not doing this shit the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. And so that's when I started getting on social media. After reading some books and having some conversations with other people, I started getting on social media. And then people started reaching out because they were like, yo, like, you're a 30-year-old dad. Like, you're not this 20-year-old they always say you're not this 20-year-old kid with an Instagram degree. And so they started reaching out to me for coaching. And I was like, well, sure. Like, so I started offering at a really low price point. And then I learned about high ticket sales and putting together an offer. And now I'm working with some pretty high level people that are really wanting to change their lives. And so I've been able to, July of 2020, I was able to quit my job after 3 solid months in business, and quit my job in July of 2020. And then now I've got a team of, it's grown fast, but I also know that it can grow faster. But I've also kind of held back because of just what I have understood, like some of my own fears, my own resistance to growing faster. But right now I've got a team of 6 and about to be 7 people or 6 people working underneath me. And so it's, I'm not even really doing a lot of the fulfillment anymore. I'm not doing a lot of the lead gen. Right now I'm just doing the sales calls and the marketing, and then, helping clients as I need to. But yeah.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. I love, like I said, I love that story of how it just kind of, started as a side gig, grew, got bigger. And all of a sudden now you're full time and you're hiring people, so that growth is out there. It can happen. And, it's interesting because a lot of times we hear situations where the doctorate in physical therapy and the physical therapy license kind of handcuffs us a little bit. It can be very limiting in certain aspects with things that you want to do and ways that you want to treat people. And, I think taking kind of a bigger 30,000 foot view picture of things, can sometimes allow you to do some really, fun and interesting stuff. And again, you've kind of created a whole business around it now. So, tell us a little bit about, what the business does. What kind of things do you work on now? And what do you project coming down the pipeline for you in the future here?
Yeah. And so even what you just brought up too, because I've had a few PTs actually reach out to me about this stuff, just mainly because of, yes, the freedom, being able to do their own thing, not being, handcuffed to a job or even to insurance. And so one of the things that even got me into this was, so physical therapy was my thing. I thought I was going to be this really good doctor of physical therapy, go into clinical research, all of that. That's what I thought I was going to do. But then when I was in the clinic, people were coming into me, yes, for knee pain, low back pain, all of that. But they were also because of, the shirts and the pants that I was wearing, they could tell that I was a fit guy. So they're like, hey, could you talk to me about weight loss? So then when they would come back in on their next visit, or whatever, like a week down the road, they weren't saying, oh, my knee's feeling better. They're like, hey, Tim, I'm down 5 pounds. I was like, you fuckers don't even care that you're here. It's like, you don't even want to be here. It's like, you're just coming because your doctor's telling you. So that's one of the things that kind of led to me understanding, like, I've got a lot more ways that I can help people, not just in, hey, yeah, your knee's better. Like, I knew that there was more. So fitness, nutrition, I've got a background in that. Plus, yes, the higher level degree of biomechanics, the stuff that I learned from that advanced spine stuff. Even just I've healed a lot of my own injuries from the type of training that I do, because I'm more mindful of just how joints move and anyways, all that kind of stuff. So that was one of the things that started taking me down that route of understanding that I've got a higher level of biomechanics, all of that type of stuff, along with fitness and nutrition. So I knew I could help people in a bigger way than, hey, your knee's better. And then now it's even progressed into, fitness, nutrition, mindset. And even before we started this recording, like I've hired, like when my business was really, so January of 2021, I hired a relationship coach, not because I'll say like I had trouble hanging out with women or whatever, but I hired a relationship coach mainly to help me manage relationships as my business was growing. Cause I don't want to say I was turning into an asshole by any means, but I could definitely tell that, like, my mom would want to get on a call and I would just talk to some of my team. And it's like, Mom, like, I don't have time to talk about this stuff. And so I was talking to my mindset coach about it. And she's like, well, you should talk to this person. And so I ended up hiring a relationship coach. I worked with one relationship coach and now I'm working with another one, but I've understood a lot of really in-depth stuff. And we don't need to get into it all on this because it's pretty wild, but now, like, I've done the fitness, nutrition, mindset, but then we're also building a brand to help men with their emotional strength to, like, and by emotional strength, that's even kind of really broad, but it's really just of figuring out who you are at your core, what your purpose is, what your truth is, and then being confident in the journey of going through life. Just because, again, like, all this shit that I've learned of going through, living out understanding that as I've went through things, that I'm living more at my truth, more at my core, and helping, other men to be masculine men, to be a strong presence for the people around them and for the people they love. And so, anyways, does that kind of answer a
Yeah,
little bit
absolutely,
of that stuff?
man. You hit a lot of high points there. I want to touch on two of them real quick here. One, you've got a couple of coaches, it sounds like, right? And I'm a firm believer in coaches and paying for coaching, right? I use the analogy of like Major League Baseball hitters, right? One of the hardest things in the world to do is to hit 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and yet these professionals do it all the time. And they have multiple coaches. They have a head coach, they have a batting coach, right? They still pay, part of the paid position is to coach, right? There are coaches out there. And if the best quarterbacks or the best wide receivers or the best baseball players in the world can have coaches, it makes sense for us to have coaches. I firmly believe you can get further along by having a coach. The other thing too is like, again, just looking at business in general, right? So one, I want to ask you, why do you think somebody should look into investing into a coach? And two, why should somebody then, in healthcare especially, look to start their own business or go into business in general?
Oh gosh, why should people look into a coach? Because there's going to be, I've spent a lot of money. I've had business coaches, sales coaches, mindset coaches. More recently was the relationship coach and the spiritual coaches, just because that's like stuff that is new and exciting to me. And I feel like that's even a way that I can help other people out too. And so I guess it's kind of just for the idea of, like, you don't know what you don't know. And and it accelerates that process of growth. Even like
Exactly.
I've been a part of a couple of different masterminds, and some of them were better than others, but I learned something in all of them that has now allowed me to get here. And it's not like it was wasted money by any means. It was just, I spent a lot of money on some that helped me to learn one thing. I spent a lot of money on some that helped me to learn a lot of things, but it's all had to be pieced together a certain way for me to understand it to now be where I'm at. And even I'm working with guys right now that are my clients that like I've had physical therapists, chiropractors. I've got 2 personal trainers going through the program right now. And even like when I ask them, it's like, yo, you guys know this shit. What do you need my help with? And even the personal trainers, they're like, yeah, I know it. But right now, like for how busy I am, I just need someone to put together something that's effective for me, for my body, for my lifestyle. And then someone to keep me accountable and hold my feet to the fire. So that's another reason for coaches too, is like, you can know what you know, and you can get caught up in your ego of like, oh, I don't need anybody. But when you have someone who's actually like paved the way and can guide you down it, and you just kind of let go, you trust that process, and then you go through it and you pick up what you need to pick up until you move on to another coach. And
exactly. Yeah. Those are 2 of my big points. One, timeline. It speeds up your timeline. They already know the path. They know the way they can help you navigate it. 2, accountability, right? Somebody to literally be there for you every week or every month or however it is, however often you meet, to say, hey, did you get done the things that we talked about and you needed to get done? If not, it's your money, man. You people that pay attention and they get stuff done. That's the moral of the story. It literally it puts that fire under your feet and says, look, get moving, take action. So why should healthcare providers then look into starting their own business?
Trying to think of a really solid, profound answer for this one, because honestly, I feel like the healthcare professionals got into the healthcare profession because they have a deep, like, yes, they want to have the higher level of education, but they also want to be able to use that education to help people. And like, I've met some, I'll even like, speaking from a doctor of physical therapy standpoint, like I've met some online fitness coaches who are nurses that have never done personal training before in their life. Like there was actually a gal I was talking to, she got her first client. The first client paid her $3,000. She's never done fitness coaching at all in her life. And it's like, what the heck? Like, so in my mind, it's like, man, I could have got this client and helped them in a real way because I'm actually educated in this stuff, but nope, because I was lazy in my marketing. Now this client is being stuck with a nurse that knows nothing about fitness and nutrition. And so I guess that's more from the physical therapy standpoint. But as far as like real healthcare, like we have the education. We don't just have, a high school education, a GED with maybe a weekend certification in fitness and nutrition or whatever. And I suppose like I'm even going into online fitness stuff, but yeah, there's just I suppose the reason why healthcare professionals should start their own business is just, yes, for the freedom, but in that freedom, it kind of gives you space to be creative, to help people in a more impactful way. Like there's even, me and my son went out to Orange County, California a couple of weeks ago and helped one of my clients to promote a community give back that he's doing. While we were out there, I ended up meeting some other people, that do some other really cool stuff that I'm going to start implementing here in Omaha just to help out the community in a nonprofit type way. And so it's, you'd start, man, there's just so many directions I could go with that. Because once you start a business, you start connecting with other business owners. You start getting in that creative flow of like, oh shit, like I actually like that idea, but I'm going to change it and make it my own idea. And then I liked what this person said, so maybe I can create something like that. And you just start to understand and trust that you can create, kind of like that whole saying, create your own reality. Like you start to trust in your ability to create things. And when you start creating things, you start to understand what you like creating, what you don't, how you like helping people, how you don't. And yeah. So anyways, I can keep going on that, but
I think you nailed again a bunch of huge points there, right? Like one, we want the money freedom, right? But the money freedom isn't as important as the time freedom, which comes along with some of the financial freedom, right? The time freedom then allows you to be able to do the creative freedom that you want to do. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs are just that. We're creators, right? Whether it be content, whether it be, networks and relationships, whether it be the business, we like to build things. We like to create and just come up with ideas, right? And those freedoms, as you build the business and it grows bigger and bigger and bigger, we kind of steamroll that, and it just keeps, giving us more freedoms and more avenues to do the things we like and enjoy doing, which in turn helps more people, and we have a bigger impact, right? So it goes from me going in and clocking in and out every day and treating 8 patients one-on-one and having an impact on 8 patients, to then growing something bigger and bigger and bigger. Now I'm helping, hundreds of people on a monthly basis, and that just keeps growing to where your impact is having a much larger effect on people. So, I can see the bigger picture. I see the vision, when you kind of talk about it that way, for sure.
Yeah. And even with that too, I was never, honestly, because you brought up that entrepreneurs, like, we like to create things. And one of the things that I'll always say is, like, when I first started physical therapy, or when I started working as a physical therapist, this clinic in Omaha promised that I was going to be a partner. It never ended up working out. But in my mind, I was like, man, like, do I really have the capabilities of, like, running a business like this? And I was like, back then, there was a part of me that was like, I'd much rather just be told of what to do, and just so I don't have to think about it. So I can just come in, I do my thing. I don't have to think about work after work. But as time went on, and what I've learned from some of my coaches, like, layers of karma got pulled back, and I started realizing, like, what my purpose really was. And it wasn't just to, like, so I guess I kind of bring that up because whoever listens to this, like, they may say, like, well, I'm not really an entrepreneur. It's like, you can probably create some shit. It's just right now you haven't had the opportunity, or given yourself the opportunity, to see what you can create or want to create. But once you start creating it, then you're probably going to fail, but then you'll figure out, you know what, maybe that wasn't really what I wanted to do, but I'm going to try and create this now. And then you find something, you trust yourself and that creative ability to, like, make an impact. And then again, like you just said, it kind of steamrolls, or it snowballs into creating, and now I'm creating a brand to help men with emotional strength. Whereas I'm a doctor of physical therapy, that it took doctor of physical therapy, online fitness coaching, being connected to a mindset coach that got me connected to a relationship coach that got me more into spiritual type work, to now I'm creating a brand to help men with emotional strength to be better dads to be better men, to be better dads, to help, just in a more profound way, or in a bigger way, because dads need some help sometimes, of just understanding to be emotionally strong men for their kids, so that they can grow up to be emotionally strong men too. So yeah.
Well, Tim, I can't thank you enough for your time and for coming on, man. Like I said, I've loved following your journey and just seeing what you've been up to. So where can people reach out to you and find you if they want to catch up and just see what you're doing, and get involved in some of the services you have to offer?
Yeah, I'd say Instagram is probably going to be the best. Instagram at DadBod Reinvented. I've got a website, dbr365.com, but I think we haven't updated that in a long time, so I don't know what's all on there. But I would say, Instagram for sure, at DadBod Reinvented.
Awesome. Well, we'll put that all down in the show notes. Tim, thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure.
You got it. Appreciate you, man. Thanks.